Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. All right, let's get going here. So daily close is in, and a little bit of selling off here at the open here. This past this opening 4 hour candle basically, right? Where the daily basically closed at 39,200, and you've sold off about $450 since then. Um, so yeah, that's current little local action here. But if you notice, I mean, you're just kind of coming back to just square up this candle, right? And then we could just from there hold and rally back up, right? So nothing too crazy yet. We're still like above these discernible, even more like this, right? Above this previous discernible level where we found support at around 38,500. So hopefully, ideally, that holds, right? You don't want to see that broken and then back tested and then sell off, right? Okay, so let's zoom back out. This isn't, I mean, it's kind of an area to be concerned with here because you do have like, all right, so say we were this measured move, right? And depending where this neckline was, you're basically approaching that, right? Say this neckline was a bit more conservative and that was your measured move, then you've hit it. You see what I mean? So yes, this is an area where some traders could be taking profit on this initial long, that they got into back on May 29th. It's June 4th. So some people could be taking profit there, just not liking what they're seeing, okay? So harmonic wise, again, depending if you take this C high, discernible C high, or if you take the more local, right? So for example, if we take the more local, X, A, B, C, we'd be looking for a bat at the 886, okay? So here's the 886 is basically right where you are, okay? So yes, this could be a bat. If you took the higher high up here as your anchor, the bat would simply be right here, okay? 886 at 39, basically right at 40K, all right? So it is possible here that this is a rejection area. But that being said, these bats, and we'll look at the divergences here in a second because that's really our telltale sign here. But these bats can also become butterflies, okay? And you end up at this 1272 up here, okay? This 1272 would now put you right here at this sweeping all the highs, right? At 40, 43, basically, 42.8. So this can quickly turn into a butterfly, and a butterfly has a range between the 1272 and as high as the 1618, okay? So this butterfly can go as high as 45.3 and still be perfectly valid pattern. See that? So depending what happens here, if this is going to reject the 886, which if it is, this you could already say this is live, right? So you got to be careful here. It is an area to be careful. And if it did reject the 886, what would it do? Probably just come back here and back test this previous neckline B, right? The B anchor point as support again for a second time, right? That's kind of worst case. I mean, yes, it could come all the way down and hit the C target and give you a square up at 34.5, but again, that's saying that this is it, right? That would be kind of saying that's it, we're done, we're selling off here. But I don't know, because this 1618 up here that we're talking about, there's a square up here too, right? So this can definitely go both ways. So definitely a telltale area of interest here, because if we start selling off here at this 886, we might say, okay, this was maybe a really small pattern and it's just already in full development here, and that's it, right? So for one, we don't want to start seeing these areas lost, right? So we don't want any sort of selling off and back testing stuff as resistance now, right? As resistance. We don't want to see that, okay? That would be this bat being a bat and playing out. Okay, another reason why this might go higher and be our butterfly, right? We keep saying, let's get up here to the 1272, right? And start the butterfly. That's how, I mean, we're really going to know that it wasn't a bat and that it was a butterfly as soon as this basically this X high is swept, right? Once you go above it, basically sweep this green line at 41. Once we get above 41, this bat is invalidated and the butterfly would be in play now, right? So let me erase this. If we don't even look at that harmonic yet, right? And we're just looking at the current action, something like that, okay. Excuse me. So if we're just looking at this current action here, then you can see this harmonic here, the blue one, the cipher, bullish cipher in blue. Really, we wanted to get to this D and then this C as far as your targets go, the D and the C, right? So we haven't got there yet. So if we can get up here and hit this C target, right? Hit the C target, then that could invalidate the bat and play this more as a butterfly, as well as if we fib from the C high to the D low, you can see this 1618 up here, right? So that's kind of what we said is lining up with this square up area. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a tank here. You know, we kind of know our invalidations. We don't want to see these. Okay, so maybe you come down and you square up this, okay? 37.6. You see this square up right here? Maybe you come down there. And then immediately you kind of price gets bought back up, right? And you start rallying right away. Because a lot of times, I mean, we've seen this do the, and it's going to look more apparent on even like Litecoin. But you have these like wedges, right? This like rising wedge, okay? And everybody starts to see these wedges. I don't know, you could say this is a little tighter, right? Try and get both those anchor points. Whatever. You see what I'm trying to get at here, right? It's like a rising wedge. I really want to use that top anchor point. Okay, maybe it's like this. Okay. So people see these rising wedges and they think, you know, dumpski, right? And again, yeah, sure, it's possible, but man, so many times I've seen these rising wedges like this and they just melt right up and just wreck everybody, okay? And then go right to that 1618 up there. So that's like what, you know, that's what we're hoping for here is this melt up, right, into this zone between the 1272 and the 1618, okay? So keep an eye on it. Again, this is another good, you have like a couple points of invalidation here, right, where we talked about these previous lows, and you also have this kind of rising wedge. So if you end up starting to, you know, fail out of all this stuff, right, you lose the rising wedge trend line, right, upsloping trend line, you fall back out of that, you start back testing, you know, stuff as resistance, you know, kind of an easy way to point out if this is going the other way on us. Going to the divergences, again, we have this pretty clear area here on the RSI that you don't want to lose, right? You could come back and test it, sure, but you don't want to like sell through it, okay, and fail off of it. That's like another telltale sign, okay? So keep an eye out for that. Ideally, we're not really like oversold or anything. You see what I mean? Like we still have so much room to run up here before, before we make some kind of um, bearish divergence where we have a higher high on price and then a lower low on the relative strength, right? Diverging bearishly, right? So that would be a telltale sign for us, okay? And that would happen more at the 1618, okay? That makes sense, right? We have to rally up there. So this initial rally is the 1272, you sell off, and then you get up to the 1618, paint the divergence, and then that's it, right? We're we're right here at like 60, okay, on the RSI. Like this isn't really an area of concern. Like we stopped at 65. So again, think of this RSI like a big channel, okay? Big parallel channel. Excuse me. And think of this midpoint, right, as the neutral zone, okay? As long as you're above the said neutral zone, right? You broke above it right here, okay? As long as you're above it, then this is bullish, right? This is all bullish territory. Okay? So as a bear, you want to push this RSI below the 50, back test it and start to sell off, right? That's what the bears want to see. But the bulls, we're trying to push this into oversold territory, and then maybe the bears can build an argument, okay? But right now, I mean, I would say, like, look, we hadn't been back above this. Let me extend this, right? We hadn't been back above this area since, back on May 12th, right? Back here, May 12th. This is the last time we were like in bullish territory. And you see, when we failed and we sold off below this, that's when it just became bearish, right? The whole time, because we were in this bearish zone, right? So now we try to get back above it, failed, but then now we've rallied and we're above it, okay? So like this isn't, we're not like, it's not too bad here, right? This is what we wanted this, and it took us, a long period of time, like almost a month to get back to these levels, right? If you look back at the highest point right here, the recent highest point, okay, it was May 10th. That's 25 days since we've had relative strength at this high of level, okay? So it's been a month since we've been here. So like this isn't the worst thing, okay? So if we get up here and we start doing this, okay, that's when we, get worried. So those are your signs, right? Signals. All right, let's move on to Ethereum. Okay, so last time we talked, we had painted this higher low, and we said we'd probably rally up to this top trend line, right? Top of that next resistance area, right? We had beat boss level 1, where we broke out and back tested, break hook, and then we went right to the top of that previous resistance point, right? You went right to it. That wick went right up and touched that line, okay? So now take a look at this. Strike 1, strike 2, we're at strike 3, okay? A lot of times when this happens, this third one's the one that breaks and puts you into that next resistance area, okay? So again, like all we're doing here is kind of just knocking on the door for this third time, okay? We have this like upsloping trend line, okay? Here, I'll make it purple so we could see what we're talking about here. The upsloping trend line in purple, okay? You see how we started just this rising where we had a low and then the next higher low, okay? Well, now that trend line is just getting more and more vertical with each slightly higher low, right? You see this? How we're now creating just a more vertical ascent in price action, okay? You see? Like we're getting borderline parabolic. So this is when you get that reactionary, candle to the upside. Okay. So would you close positions if we get to the top of that butterfly? Yeah, cowboy. I mean, if we hit the 1618 on that butterfly, oh yeah. And as soon as we disregard this bat first, we got to get rid of the bat, right? So as soon as we disregard the bat, and we become the butterfly, we immediately start layering from the 1272 all the way through the 1618. Okay, so as soon as you hit that 1272, boom, you're 10% off. And as that approaches a 1414, you've already taken another 20-30% off. Hit the 1414, 40-50% off. In between 1414 1618, there's more layers. By the time you hit the 1618, you're only like 10% left in play anyways. And then boom, you take it there. It's going to nuke back down, and then we re-enter again, right? Because, sorry, I'm kind of dying here. Okay, so if we, basically if we hit that butterfly, you're gonna find, look, we're almost rejecting now. You know what I mean? It's barely the 886, the bat, right? We're barely at the D of the bat, and we're already finding some resistance. So imagine when we get to the 1618 of the butterfly, if the bat never rejected, it's going to be hard to keep rallying beyond that point, right? That's when you're getting greedy and asking for it. So yeah, we will definitely be scaling out on the butterfly. All right. Okay, so yeah, we talked about this ETH last night, about we wanted to get back to this higher level here, and we did it. I mean, look, we have this trend line where you just keep painting higher lows, and eventually I feel like this is just going to melt straight up and just wreck everybody, because I feel like people are getting awfully bearish again. And man, I mean, the flip-flopness, right? But everyone sees this rising wedge, like, oh my god, a rising wedge. Wrecked, right? So I don't know, we'll see here. Sorry. Again, on the oscillators, you see how like it appears to be very bearishly diverging here, but this is just kind of made the same exact high. You see that? So what's weird about that is it's more like this previous high here has already played out. Okay, so it's like this is done. You got to start some new divergence, and this isn't looking the best. I'm not gonna lie. That's why if we get up here to the 1618, this is really gonna be looking trashy, right? Something, I don't know. It should ideally be looking pretty trashy, right? This RSI, man, you're definitely, in an area that you could lose for sure, right? So you could sell off and start, back testing these, but so far you haven't. Okay, so far you have not. You're holding the line. Okay, you're holding the line. Worst case, you sell off. What are you gonna do? You're gonna come back to 2,500. So you're just gonna come back to 2,500. Maybe not even that far, right? Paint a higher low. Not even that far. Paint a discernible higher low, and then try it again, right? A higher low than this previous low, right? But again, I still feel like this is just going to melt right up into this higher resistance area. Okay. All right. So let's look at, and with ETH here, you don't even really have a harmonic on the low time frame. Okay. Like I'll show you on Litecoin, but on ETH, it's more this just massive one, right? And this massive one is again a bat, right? So this bat can play out. So ideally, if this melts up, we hit this resistance, we hit the low time frame butterfly on Bitcoin, we sell back off. we regard this previous current area that's resistance as support. Then we rally up and we hit the higher time frame butterfly. I mean bat. Okay, so that's why cowboy the sell off would happen here on the butterfly. Okay, the low time frame butterfly. I mean, yeah, sure, you can hold through that because again, you're probably just going to back test this trend line. Okay, or this horizontal line support resistance area. Okay, so if you're in from down here, this isn't really affecting you, but it does give you a chance to at least take some off and then reload it, right? So that's the opportunity that can present itself in the near future. Okay, so Litecoin. This one, last time we talked, we said, okay, we have this downsloping trend line and we need a breakout above it, and maybe we run down and test it, regard it as support for a while, and then rally, right? So let me get rid of that, and that's pretty much what we're doing, right? We found the top of it, we came back, failed, but we got back into it, tested it again, right? And then now we've broken out and are back testing it. So this is looking pretty good. I mean, yeah, we're a little below it, but that just depends how you drew it, right? We drew this a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but so say it was just like that, right? I mean, you would be like, oh, this is perfect, right? It was just such a minor adjustment. So again, this isn't the tell-all sign here, but this is what we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see break out above this. And that previous 4 hour right before the daily closed was actually looking really solid, and you freaking gave the whole thing back. Damn it. But yeah, I mean, that was looking really promising when oh shit, I'm trying to just get rid of that one. Can I do it? Yeah. Okay, right there. This was looking really nice, you know what I mean? And then this past 4 hours kind of, shit the bed, gave back the past 8 hours worth of work. But, again, let me get rid of that. Again, it's just, it's still not that bad, right? What was once previous resistance, okay, where we had this June 1st resistance area, we had it again on June 2nd, and then we broke through it and we back tested it, and now we're rallying above it and we're back testing the down sloping trend line. So like, if we would have said, when we were right here, what do we want to see have happen? We would have said, well, let's first square up this area, and then maybe we can, and then all we did was come back and squared up the low one. We rallied back up, right? And then we got back above that level. We said, okay, let's back test it, back tested it, and then now we're rallying. Like, this is literally like a picture perfect scenario if we were talking about it back here of what we would want to have happen. So, this is like, we still have this target up here, 228, right? So I don't think that we've really lost our plan here, right? I don't think that we're really in jeopardy at this moment. I think that we're sitting fine, you know what I mean? So low time frame, let's just talk about from the local, May 18th high to the May 23rd low, rally up top of this trend line, 50% retracement, Dow's theory, right? Now we're looking for between a 382 and an 886. We got almost 618. So this is painting a bat. So 886, right? 886. So again, everything's like leaning a lot more to the upside from where I'm sitting than down here. we just need some bids to step in, and we should be, you know, okay. Let's see, we dropped a few frames. It's weird. I don't know if you guys saw any stuttering. I tried to turn the music off on this one. I'm sure you noticed. Here, let me bring it back real quick. Okay. So I had the music on there for a second, and I was hoping that was our culprit for the stream lag. So we'll just have to see. Okay. Yeah, I'm dying. Okay. Inverse head and shoulders, neckline, measured move. Measured move would put us up at 228, right? So that's still like, yeah, I mean, I don't see any real issues here at the moment. As long as Bitcoin doesn't absolutely nuke, but you know, there's nothing really saying that we should here at the moment. Again, we have our signs, right? Like this big wedge, okay? So everyone's probably looking at this. Let me zoom in to our, get rid of the harmonic, get rid of the trend line, the trend line, the trend line. Okay, so see this big wedge here? Everyone's probably looking at this shit and freaking out, right? Like, oh, we're gonna dump. And what would this look like if it did dump on this rising wedge? You would measure from the opening of the mouth, and we would take that up here, right? Or we would take that down here on the breakout, okay? So if we fail, we're probably going to square up 158. See this 158 square up down here? If we fail, you're going to probably end up right there. Okay? But if we hold, then this measured move of the opening of the rising wedge melting upwards would put us right in our zone, right at 230 basically, okay? So this is why we still have hope for that move, okay? And again, all we did over here is we took this measured move from the candle closes to the neckline, and we pasted that up here, and this is how you got this measured move to 228, okay? AVAX, see, like, again, guys, like, to me, it's like we're barely getting started. So, like, why is everyone getting so bearish right away? We'd have to start breaking below certain levels, right? And regarding them as resistance again before we start getting so bearish. Okay, so yeah, I mean, look, we had this square up here. We are now just back testing that previous resistance. Resistance is now support. Like, we need to first like start losing these, right? You need to lose these, and then you need to lose this next one, right? That would be the bearish price action one would not want to see. All right. On the bullish side, we have a discernible swing high point on May 19th, the A low May 23rd, partial rise 382 into a 786 up to an 886, okay? Right here, $36. Okay, so again, still you know, still bullish here overall. You even have like another square up there that's kind of like right at that 886. You see that point up there? So this would be the zone we would want to take some profit in, layer out, maybe even short, depending on how the oscillators look at that time. So again, on this RSI, yeah, I mean, you're getting to the point where you can lose this, right? But you have not yet. So until you lose it, you're still okay. If and when you start losing these and you start backtesting them as resistance, ideally you'd be doing the same thing on price, right? Price would be acting the same way. But currently, you know, even that first one, you'd just be backtesting the 50. And as long as that held and you were to rally back up until you sell below this, right? And act as resistance again, you're still okay. So, yeah, it'd be really nice to rally off this. Really nice to rally off this. And then you have it almost like to the high side too, right? So maybe you can get up there and test that high side. Whoops. Test that high side. Okay, and somewhere there's where you paint the divergence bearishly. And then here's the failure. Okay? That's the real failure point. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Next we have FTT. So again, this trend line was probably here because of this back test, right? This is probably more likely where it was. So this measured move is probably more conservative, which is fine. We're always okay with being more conservative. So this would be looking for $45. Yeah, $45 here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, again, like until you start backtesting this as resistance and then selling off from there, right? And backtesting that, you're fine, right? You're fine. This area, you know, you have a little square up here, maybe a little low time frame square up, and then you rally again, right? So we're okay still. We're okay. Again, a lot of these wedges, right? A lot of these rising wedges painting. So these are probably going to be freaking everyone else out per usual. It's going to be funny when these melt to the upside. But again, we'll just have to wait until it actually happens, right? Too early to tell. Too early to tell. But we need some bidders to step in here. We need everything to just hold, right? So again, even this previous square up here, see this previous square up here, you're now just back testing that as support. So nothing too crazy across the board. Everything, again, still looking like it's mirroring itself regardless of the asset, underlying asset ticker. SNX. So similar to where we had this like previous range, right, where we said, okay, let's let's back test the range low and then go test the range high, and now it's just like a partial decline back to the range midpoint, and then you rally again, right? So what we want to see is above, sweep the highs, back test them as support, and then run, right? That's what we want to see have happen here. Bitcoin Elon tweet. What did that cocksucker just say? I don't know. Okay. Again, we painted the low, higher low, higher low, higher low, still higher low, right? Like let's keep our perspective here. So again, if we lose these lows and we lose another low and we lose another low, that's, you know, that's not the price action we're looking for. Okay. All right. XLM. Let me clean this up a little here. So we basically said we have a golden zone up ahead, up overhead. Okay, so all we're doing here again is back testing. Look at this. Okay, all you did was, excuse me, hold on. Okay, sorry. So XLM, you know, we painted the low, put in the slightly lower low, and then we rallied and put in a higher low, right? So inverse head and shoulders-esque structure, changing of the tide in the price action, right? Then we had this on the right shoulder painted on inverse head and shoulders on the low time frame. This neckline is now just being regarded like we broke through it really nice, back tested it perfectly, and now we're just sitting sideways. That's what we said we were going to do up here before rallying again. So there it is, right? What we're doing, what we want to do later, we're about to do right now. All right, so again, we don't want to lose this gray box, right, and back test it as resistance. That is bad, right? So you know what you're looking for a little bit there. So you know kind of what to bail on. If this just sells off and it just can't get back above it, you see your area of cluster here, right? So you need to be able to get above that, right? Very clearly. Very clearly here, we now have this like new cluster. You see this? Where now we're above it. The previously when we were below it, right? We were below the white line neckline with this previous cluster area, and now we broke above it, fell below it, but now we're above it again, right? So I would say this gray box has now kind of moved up. If you were to stop, you'd be right here, right? Currently, if you were to stop, you'd be at 33 cents. Eventually, if this can hold here and start to rally up, you'd be able to then bring this stop up a little, right? Maybe even actually using that line. But right now, it's too early. You need to be below this head of this local inverse head and shoulders. But yeah, I mean, zooming out a bit here, we're still okay. We're looking for this golden retrace zone, right? Initially, at least. But yeah, X, A, B, C, 886 would be way up here. So again, a golden zone doesn't mean it's the end. It just means that's our common retrace area, right? And then you like paint this inverse, you paint this head and shoulders, but then you wreck everyone again and you go to that 886, right? So that's kind of stuff we like to do. Paint the wedge, everyone thinks down, we break up. Paint the head and shoulders, everyone thinks down, we break up. Anywhere we can set traps against the retail investor, we set them, right? This is inch. So on inch, we said, X marks the spot here. We want to get back above. See this previous kind of congestion zone right here, right? We want to stay above that, right? Currently, we are in it, right? We're inside of it, but very, very easily here we could simply just be bought back up above it, right? Then we need to get back above this heart line, and then we can test the top of this parallel channel, upsloping parallel channel, right? That's what we're looking for. X marks the spot, $5 area on inch. So yeah, we got really massive structure here, guys. Like, from the high to low was 15 days, even to the higher low 21 days, right? Before the breakout actually kind of really occurred. Depending where we want to, yeah, that's a pretty good spot. So we painted, you know, we have the spine, we have the feet of the dragon. Here's that like waist, and then here's the upper torso area, and that upper torso has our X target in it, right? So here's the head of that dragon, right? So we're like, you got the low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We're fine. I don't see anything wrong here yet. You know, I could be wrong, but you know, so far I would say that we're just fine for the moment. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at AVAX, or what is this? AAVE. Measured move has you at 474. All you're doing right now is, it looks like you're, I mean, you're still painting a higher low. You haven't, so here was your previous low, right? Which is basically the neckline. So as long as you stay up and above that neckline and just hold somewhere in this area, you're still painting higher lows, right? Even worst case, say you just double bottom right on it. That would also not be the worst sign, right? That would be okay. And then you rally from there. Again, what we don't want to see is losing sweeping the previous lows, back testing, and then again sweeping previous lows and back testing. That is bad price action. Okay. So AAVE, yeah, I mean, selling off past 4 hours. That's why it sucked. You had such a nice candle right before the close. But yeah, we'll just have to see how this follows through and kind of just go from there, I guess, right? Algo had a nice breakout, a little bit of selling off, but I mean, all the way up, guys, they're selling off. Okay, we go up, they're selling off. We go up, they're selling off. Like, it's just part of how we get to where we're going. Let's see here. We're back testing like previous highs right now. You see this? So again, until we start like losing them, right? We don't want to see these previous support resistance areas flipped back into resistance, right? We've flipped them into support. So we need to hold them as support. This might even be a little lower. Might even be here. Either way, that's not the end of the world, right? What are we talking about here? Another 4%, 5%, okay? Yeah, any selling off sucks, of course, but, you know, so far, this is still, again, I don't think we've finished this rally, right? Like, it just started. To sort of think that it's over, you know, it's possible, but again, like, we just got started here. We just got started. Our goal is up here. Once we get up here, you know, we could be looking at this a bit different, because it's definitely an area where traders are going to be taking profit and where the exchange is going to settle up, right? But for now, again, you're not even painting bearish divergence. You're painting bullish convergence. And you have not painted the divergence yet on the RSI. That's just convergence. You'll rally up again from here. And then you put in the slightly low or high. This becomes the bearish divergence on the back end, okay? You have not done that yet. So you have not done that yet, right? So what's everybody talking about? Elon's tweet or something? CRV, you hit the measured move and sold off from there, but not very many others have hit the measured move. CRV was rallying up in front of things, you know, it was leading the way. Whoops. Dragon. Okay, again, guys, this is like exactly what we wanted to happen. There's no need to panic when we said, look, 1, 2, here's a third time, right? So we said when we get this third time, and we just got it, that this is when you get that rally, okay? This isn't when you get scared. This is when everyone else gets scared. 1, 2, 3 times the charm. Okay, and again, you're still painting higher lows here, okay? Higher lows, higher lows. We haven't really, like, nothing's really happened yet, okay? If we sell off, that'll suck. This will really suck, okay? So that's what you don't want to see. Losing these previous lows as resistance again, right? And falling below them and jeopardizing more lows. We don't want to see any of that, okay? So let's get some bidders to step in. Let's get a push to the upside, and let's go. GRT, again, look, we said we're going to rally. We're chopping around in here. We're going to break out. We're going to back test. We chopped in here. We broke out. We're back testing. Guys, this is literally our plan. The next part of the plan is the rally. Sweep the highs, okay? Sweep the high time. Let's go. Dog. Request for dog in the chat. Is Elon tweeting about dog or about Bitcoin? So this dog asset here, again, it appears that you are back testing this previous what was once resistance, you broke through and is now being back tested as support. Break, hook, let's go, come on. XRP, look, perfect back test, and then you rallied back above. So yeah, that sucks when you sell off, but it's the follow through that really matters. We said these wicks, right? As long as they get back up, it's not the wick, it's the follow through. Bitcoin, oh, lost the wedgie, losing the wedgie. Not a good. I don't know how to draw it. I don't even want it to be there. I'm just saying that's what everybody's probably looking at. Okay, so back tested this 50, right? Gotta stay above it. Whoops. Let's see if we have another one of these here. Just depends where you put it there, but again, like, I like to look at it more of the support resistance than these wedges. He's selling his Bitcoin, whatever, good. If we start failing here like this, I'll probably sell too, okay? But right now, that hasn't happened. Yeah, fuck that candle, but let's get the next one to be green, okay? So 2.5 hours before this candle closes, ideally we just came down here and squared this up, guys. Look at that square up, okay? Like, just regular old square up. You do have another one down here. So, okay, if you get below this and you hit that one, you just have to get back above it, okay? You don't want to get below and below, okay? You need to immediately rally back and hold, right? If you do square up these ones. You don't have to, but you might, right? It's more this one, 36.5. So we'll just have to see how it goes from here, but yeah, still feel like we're gonna find ourselves up here, and everybody's gonna be like, "What the fuck? Elon sold. We should be down here." And maybe that's a stupid catalyst that came out of nowhere on us, but um, yeah, we just don't want to start doing this, okay? So let's see if we could get the bids to step in and just keep an eye on it. Hopefully we could find ourselves back at that 4K 42K area. So we'll just keep an eye on this over the next 4 8 hours 12 hours, right? The next 4 candle closes are going to be really decisive here. If we can hold above these levels and rally back up, right, you're gonna be like, okay, we're good. If we start fading them if we fade and lose the areas and it becomes resistance, that's your sign to get out, okay? So hold, you're strong. Fail in resistance, you're out, right? So that's your plan for the next 12 hours or so, 16 hours, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I guess we could ask the Magic 8 Ball before we leave. Magic 8 Ball, is Bitcoin going to fail here and go to zero, or are we going to go up and find ourselves at 40K to 42K? Damn it, Magic 8 Ball says we're going to get wrecked. So if Magic 8 Ball's been on point lately too, it's kind of scary. So yeah, let's keep an eye on it. Hopefully the Magic 8 Ball strikes out, but she's shooting at like 80%. So Magic 8 Ball says that we're gonna do this. Okay, so this is Magic 8 Ball's in a short, counter trading this. So let's see what happens from here. Okay, guys. So I will catch you back in the Discord, and let's keep an eye on things. Have a good rest of your evening. Duck out.